Shalom, all praise to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rekah, Kodash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone who rule well, who teach well, and a sincere salutation to all the Akim, pushing His truth throughout the four winds of the earth, waking up hope for the elect. Coming to another lesson, Lord's willing to be edifying. This is a video, and it's titled China and Russia warns U.S. and Israel will use all its might if war is forced. Brain implants pilots. So I'm going to play this. This is furthermore showing that World War III is real close.
Welcome back again, everyone. It's Dina Calmetta here with CWW7 News. And for today's broadcast, we have a lot to talk about. We're going to go over some headlines concerning Israel and Syria, as well as the United States, Russia, and China. In fact, I'd like to start there. Apparently, tensions have escalated in the last 24 hours, considering the fact that the United States had placed sanctions on China for buying Russian military equipment. And now China and Russia are warning the United States of consequences over those sanctions. Moscow and Beijing lashed out Friday at Washington's new anti-Russian sanctions that also target China for the first time, warning the United States could face consequences. Russia's deputy foreign minister stated that the United States is playing with fire, while Beijing voiced strong indignation over the move. United in their resentment of America's global influence, China and Russia have sought in recent years to tighten up their ties, and this month conducted a week-long joint military drills, Moscow's largest ever war games. On Thursday, China, which is also locked in a trade war with Washington, got caught up in the sanctions war against Russia as the United States announced a new raft of measures that would punish third countries for dealing with Moscow. Stepping up pressure on Moscow over its malign activities, the U.S. State Department said it was placing financial sanctions on the Equipment Development Department of the Chinese Ministry of Defense and its top administrator for its recent purchase of Russian Sukhoi Su-35 fighter jets and S-400 surface-to-air missile systems. Beijing on Friday urged the United States to withdraw sanctions or bear the consequences, stating that the U.S. actions have seriously violated the basic principles of international relations and seriously damaged the relations between the two countries and the two militaries. We strongly urge the U.S. to immediately correct their mistake and withdraw their so-called sanctions, otherwise the United States will have to bear the consequences, stated Beijing. U.S. officials said it was the first time a third country has been punished under the CAATSA sanctions legislation for dealing with Russia, signaling President Trump's administration will risk relations with other countries in its campaign against Moscow. Moscow stated that Washington was rocking global stability and said sarcastically that placing sanctions on Russia has become Washington's favorite pastime. Russia's deputy foreign minister stated that it would be good for them to remember there is such a concept as global stability, which they are thoughtlessly undermining by whipping up tensions in Russian-American ties. Playing with fire is silly. It can become dangerous. Those are definitely fighting words coming from Russia and China. But what the consequences will mean for the United States remains to be seen. But I will definitely continue to keep you updated. But speaking of tensions, I'd like to take you to this next report from Express News. And they are reporting that just this week, British and French fighters had to scramble to intercept Russian bombers over the North Sea. The Ministry of Defense confirmed the military jets had been dispatched to monitor the long-range Blackjack bombers which were approaching British airspace. The Russian aircraft was not talking to air traffic control, making them a hazard to all other aircraft in the area, stated the MOD. Officials said the bombers passed through the UK area of interest over the North Sea, but were escorted away from the area by RAF fighters. Flight radar information shows Russian aircraft took off from air bases southeast of Moscow before heading north around Finland and Sweden. At least one British fighter and a tanker were deployed shortly before 3 p.m. Images from Airspace Monitoring Service Air Live showed the tanker circled over the North Sea before heading back towards RAF Brize Norton. The MOD stated that the Russian bombers were monitored by the RAF and NATO forces as they passed through international airspace. But at no time did the Russian bombers enter UK airspace. Defense Secretary Gavin Williamson stated that Russian bombers probing UK airspace is another reminder of the very serious military challenge that Russia poses us today. We will not hesitate to continually defend our skies from acts of aggression. Once again, the rapid reactions of our RAF have demonstrated how vital our armed forces are in protecting Britain. It goes on further to report that French fighters were also deployed from an airbase in northeastern France to intercept the aircraft. The spokesman for the French Air Force stated that the usual response mechanisms were triggered. Fighters took off in the late morning with a refueling plane and positioned themselves for possible intervention. Finally, it reports that RAF had to scramble jets more than 80 times over the last decade to intercept Russian military aircraft. It definitely seems as if Russia has been making the rounds. Just last week, 2 Russian bombers had to be intercepted by U.S. fighter jets near the coast of Alaska. This was the second time in a month. And doesn't it seem as if this is happening more frequently this year than in times past? So hopefully nothing dangerous will happen in the future. But speaking of dangerous, I do have an update in regards to the Russian plane that was shot down accidentally by Syria. Improvements may be made to the Israeli military's coordination with Russia over its operations in Syria in light of the downing of a Russian spy plane earlier this week, stated a senior Israeli army official. For now, he stressed the deconfliction mechanism used by the two countries to coordinate activities was continuing to function effectively. The official stated that Israeli military delegation had answered Russia's questions over Monday's incident, including debunking any notion that the Israeli jets had hidden behind the Russian plane. Israel also clarified that its attack planes had left the area before the Syrians fired the missile that downed the Russian plane. He also said Israel notified the Russians ahead of the strike and not a minute before, as Moscow had originally claimed. And he dismissed the pro-Hezbollah newspaper's claim on Friday that Russia had refused to accept Israel's explanations over the incident, for which Israel firmly blames Syria. On Thursday, an Israeli delegation, led by Israel's Air Force chief, visited Moscow in order to brief Russian officials on Israel's initial investigation of the incident. During their meetings in Moscow, Israel's delegation told their Russian counterparts that the Syrian military fired more than 20 anti-aircraft missiles in response to the Israeli attack, a comparatively large number for this type of scenario. 4 Israeli F-16 fighter jets were said to have taken part in the airstrike. In addition, the senior military officer said the majority of the surface-to-air missiles fired by the Syrians, including the missile that hit the Russian spy plane, were fired after the Israeli jets had left the area. It goes on further to report that despite the IDF's insistence on its innocence, the incident initially threatened Israel's coordination efforts with Russia, known as a deconfliction mechanism, which is meant to prevent such clashes. However, the senior official, speaking on condition of anonymity, said the hotline between the Israeli and Russian militaries has continued to operate as normal, though some improvements may be made in the future. For now, there are no changes to the deconfliction mechanism, stated the officer, but both sides will use this opportunity to make adjustments. It goes on finally to report that Israel presented their data and findings that were received by the Russian, and also stated that Russia was invited to come to Israel if there were any future questions. With all of that on the table, Arutz Sheva is reporting that Israeli Prime Minister stated on Wednesday that Israel would continue to work towards preventing the outbreak of another major conflict in the region, while adding that the IDF would not hesitate to use its full force if war were to break out. During his speech at the Herzl Military Cemetery, Netanyahu emphasized Israel's commitment to preserving peace. He said we must exert every possible effort to prevent war, but added that if we are forced into war, we will use our full force against those who seek our destruction. Those who seek to destroy us are mostly in the Middle East, in particular Iran, which openly calls for the destruction of Israel. It is our obligation to protect ourselves from this danger, and we shall continue to protect ourselves. Earlier this week, Israeli fighter jets bombed a weapons development center in northern Syria, reportedly maintained by the Assad regime with Iranian assistance. Despite the airstrike, Hezbollah's chief claimed that the terror group already possessed precision missiles, warning Israel to watch out, stating that people who were outside the conflict with Israel are now part of it. Israel is afraid of any war. They understand that the war against us will have many ramifications in the region. With that said, breaking Israel news is reporting that Israel is upgrading their nuclear defenses in response to Iran and Syrian threats. In a highly unusual and unprecedented move, the Director General of Israel's Atomic Energy Commission made a public statement about explicit threats by Iran and its proxies to attack Israel's nuclear sites. Speaking at the 62nd General Conference of the International Atomic Energy Agency on Thursday, the Director General made it clear that Israel plans to reinforce its nuclear facility. He said, "We cannot ignore the repeated and explicit threats made by Iran and its proxies to attack Israel's nuclear sites. These outrageous threats require Israel to take action and continue to protect and defend its nuclear facilities. These facilities are constantly upgraded and reinforced in line with the IAEA safety guidelines in order to withstand any attack." The leader of Israel's atomic energy program also called for a concerted international effort against Iran and Syrian nuclear development sites, following a request from Iran for the UN to condemn and supervise Israel's nuclear development. Iran's ambassador to the United Nations asked the body to condemn Israeli threats to the Islamic Republic and further monitor Israel's nuclear development in letters written to the Security Council and Secretary General. It goes on finally to report that the timing of the Iranian request was ironic. It came on the back of an Israeli missile strike in Syria, which is thought to have targeted a regime military weapons warehouse said to contain a cache set to be transferred to Hezbollah in Lebanon. Israel has always remained tight-lipped about its nuclear capabilities, neither confirming nor denying whether it possesses nuclear arms. All of these headlines combined point us directly to Bible prophecy, specifically Isaiah 17:1 in regards to the destruction of Damascus, as well as Ezekiel chapter 38-39 in regards to the future invasion of Israel. And
Hey, now that's beautiful. She said Bible prophecy. Okay. Now I'm going to read the first verse she said. This is Isaiah 17, verse 1. The burden of Damascus, behold, Damascus is taken away from being a city. It shall be a ruinous heap. Okay? And she showed you the map of Damascus, which is in Syria. Okay? Then she spoke about Deuteronomy 38. Ezekiel chapter 38 and chapter 39. Because this is Bible prophecy. Now I'm going to read Ezekiel 38. Because this is all about Iran, China, Russia, okay, and the other allied countries that's with Russia, North Korea, South Korea, okay, Saudi Arabia. All those countries are going to come up against North America. This is Ezekiel chapter 38, verse 1. And the word of the Lord Yahweh came unto me, saying, Son of man, set thy face against Gog, the land of Magog. Now, it says, set thy face against Gog in the land of Magog. Now, Magog is Russia, okay? Magog is Russia. That's who inhabits that land today, is the Russians, okay, Putin. It say, set thy face against Gog in the land of Magog, the chief prince of Meshach and Tubal, and prophesy against it. Now, Meshach and Tubal is the former Soviet Union states, the former Soviet states. That's Meshach and Tubal, okay? And it say, and I will turn thee back and put hooks into thy jaws, and I will bring thee forth in all thy army, horse and horsemen, and all of them clothed with all sorts of armor, even a great company with buckler and shields, all of them handling swords. Now it's talking about all the allies that's going to be joined to Russia, okay? The former Soviet states, Meshach and Tubal, okay? Magog, Russia. And it reads, it say Persia Persia is the Iranians. Oh, Persia is Iran. Okay, it's a Persia, Ethiopia, and Libya. Libya is Put. Okay, it's a Libya with them, all of them with shield and helmet. It's a Gomer. Gomer is is Eastern Europe. It's a Gomer and all his bands. The house of Togomer. They say the house of Togomer, and Togomer is Turkey. It's a Gomer and all his bands. The house of Togomer of the north quarters, all of his bands and many people with them. Okay, he said, be thou prepared and prepare for thyself, thou and all the company that are assembled unto thee, and be thou a guard unto them. Okay, so when she spoke about Ezekiel the 38th chapter, Ezekiel the 39th chapter, it's talking about Russia, Iran, the former Soviet states, Eastern Europe, Turkey, and Libya. Okay, these was the name that she mentioned, man. Okay, these are the names that's in Ezekiel 38th chapter. Magog, Persia, Meshach, Tubal, Togomer, okay, Gomer, and Put, man. That's Libya, Turkey, Eastern Europe, former Soviet states, Iran, and Russia. Okay, along with China, North Korea, South Korea, all those people, all those countries is going to join with Russia to destroy North America, man. Now she mentioned verse 30, Ezekiel chapter 39. They say the same thing. Therefore, thy son of man, prophesy against Gog and say, thus saith the Lord Yahweh power, behold, I am against thee, O God, the chief prince of Meshach and Tubal. Meshach and Tubal is the former Soviet states. Okay, the Soviet Union. And the Lord say he's going to put the hook into thy jaws and turn thee back. What that mean? That's that old that cold war state, man. Okay, that in the ancient time. Okay, this is what they're talking about. The old ways of the Soviet Union, man. That Cold War, man. That's what they're talking about when the Lord said in Ezekiel 38. And I will turn thee back and put hooks into thy jaws, and I will bring thee forth, and all thy army, horsemen and horsemen, it's a horse and horsemen, and all of them clothed with all sorts of armor, even the great company with buckler and shield, all of them handling swords. Meaning their swords are talking about their missiles, man. Okay? He said he's going to turn Russia, Meshach and Tubal, which is Russia and former Soviet states, the old Soviet Union, to that Cold War state, man. Okay, about warring, man, gearing up for battle, and now every last one of them have missiles, okay, to get ready to shoot the missiles on North America, man. Now, this is our prophecy, because this is Job chapter 3. Job chapter 3 and verse 9. It say, proclaim ye this among the Gentiles, prepare war, wake up the mighty men, let all the men of war draw near, let them come up. It say, beat your plowshares into swords and your pruning hooks into spears. Okay, talking about all them, everything they got, man. They building their weapons into missiles, man. Okay, they're spending all their funds, everything they got, they spending it into making hypersonic missiles, man. So when they say beat your plowshares into swords and your pruning hook into spears, it's saying and let the weak say I am strong. Because in the ancient time, all the other countries was weak. North America was the only one that had the atomic bomb, okay, which they dropped on Hiroshima and Nagasaki. So now it said let the weak say I am strong. So that's telling you that all the other countries, they have them ICBMs, them intercontinental ballistic missiles. So everybody is strong now. They are not weak no more because everybody have missiles now. And everybody have hypersonic missiles now. Okay, so reading on, it say, beat your plowshares into swords and your pruning hook into spears. Let the weak say, I am strong. Assemble yourselves and come, all ye heathen. So they're talking about all the heathen nations that's going to the valley of Jehoshaphat, which is Yehoshaphat, meaning the valley of decision, of the Lord's decision. It say, assemble yourselves and come, all ye heathen, and gather yourselves together round about thither. Cause thy mighty ones to come down, O Lord. So he said, let the heathen be wakened and come up to the valley of Jehoshaphat, for there will I sit to judge all the heathen round about. Okay? Multitudes and multitudes in the valley of decision. That's what Jehoshaphat means, valley of decision. It say multitudes and multitudes in the valley of decision, for the day of the Lord is near in the valley of decision. Okay? So it's going to be a war, man. A major war, man. In the valley of decision. Jehoshaphat, which is Yehoshaphat. Now this is Jeremiah chapter 50. Now it say, assemble yourselves. Okay? When I read in Joel, matter of fact, I'm going to read it again before I read this next precept, linking them together. Joel 3:11, it say, assemble yourselves and come, all ye heathen, and gather yourselves together round about. Now this is Jeremiah chapter 50 and verse 9. It said, for lo, I will raise and cause to come up against Babylon, which is North America, and assemble of great nations from the north country, and they shall set themselves in array against her. From thence she shall be taken. Their arrows shall be as of a mighty expert man, none shall return in vain. Meaning they're going to hit their mark, man. Okay, when the arrows, and they got a movie called Broken Arrow, okay, with this guy John Travolta. Okay, Broken Arrow is talking about those missiles, man. Actually stolen missiles. So in the movie Broken Arrow, they call the missiles arrows, man, cause they get it from the scriptures. Now it say again, it say their arrows shall be as of a mighty expert man, and none shall return in vain. The arrows is not talking about arrows, man, like bow and arrow. It's talking about those missiles, them ICBMs, them intercontinental ballistic missiles. Now this is Jeremiah chapter 50, verse 14, and it reads, put yourselves in array against Babylon round about. And this is what's going on right now. Everybody pissed off with North America with these sanctions and their legislations, okay, their laws, their democracy, because they wicked, man. It say, put yourselves in array against Babylon round about. All ye that bend the bow, shoot at her. It say, spare no arrows, for she have sinned against the Lord Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua. Okay, so he say, bend your bows and shoot your arrows at her, man. Okay, it's talking about those missiles, man. He say, spare no arrows, let all of them, and the Lord, and this is controlled by the Lord, and this is proof. This is Jeremiah chapter 50, verse 25. The Lord have opened his armory and have brought forth the weapons of his indignation. For this is the work of the Lord Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua, power of hosts, in the land of the Chaldees. Okay, the Lord is doing this, man. Okay, this is the work of the Lord. Verse 29 say, call together the archers against Babylon, all ye that bend the bow, camp against it round about. Let none thereof escape. Recompense her according to her works, according to all that she hath done, do unto her. For she hath been proud against the Lord, against the Holy One of Israel. Therefore shall her young men fall in the streets, and all her men of war shall be cut off in the day, saith the Lord Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua. So all the men of war are going to be cut off, man. Okay, going to that war, fighting that war, man. They all going to be cut off, man. It ain't going to be none left, man. Okay, And this is Isaiah chapter 13 in verse 5. It say, reading again, it said in verse 4, it said, the noise of a multitude in the mountains, like as of a great people, a tumultuous noise of the kingdoms of nations gathered together. Okay, talking about all those nations is gonna come against North America. It said the Lord Yahweh of hosts mustered the hosts of the battle. They come from a far country, from the end of heaven, even the Lord and the weapons of his indignation to destroy the whole land. Howl ye, for the day of the Lord is at hand. It shall come as a destruction from the Almighty. Okay, it said, therefore shall all hands be faint, and every man's heart shall melt. Okay, heart attacks when they see those missiles coming, man. It say, behold, the day of the Lord cometh, cruel both with wrath and fierce anger, to lay the land desolate, and he shall destroy the sinners thereof out of it. Okay, so it's finna come, man. War is coming. That war is coming to North America, man. Okay, the war is coming to the shores of North America, and it shall be destroyed, man, because Esau has been doing wickedness, man. Okay, he has been doing wickedness, and the Lord is sick of all this chemtrail, GMO food, okay, contaminating the water. And the main things going on right now, man, is homosexuality, man. Okay, it's LGBT, man, lesbians, transgenders, bisexual, homosexuals. This is Sodom and Gomorrah all over again, man. And that's the main pollution of the earth, man. With this LGBT, man, that is destroyed the earth, man. Everywhere you look at, man, you got young people, old people, everybody is being homosexuals and lesbians, man, transgenders and bisexuals, man. Okay, this is over the earth, man, and the Lord is sick of it. And mainly, man, you have took the Lord's people, you have stolen their identity. Okay, you have treacherously dealt with them, rape, rob, murder, and pillage. Okay, castrate the men, buck breaking the men on the plantation, burn them alive, man, hanging them in front of their people. Okay, the Lord is sick of this, man. That's why he's long suffering. That's why he said, wait ye upon me till I rise up to the prey, man. Because the Lord has opened the armory of his indignation, man. Okay, to judge North America and Israel, man. Israel gonna get destroyed too as well. And some other parts of the earth. Okay, these wicked people, he's going to destroy the same ones that's making these missiles. He's going to use them to destroy those same people, man. Okay. This is Jeremiah 51, verse 1. Thus saith the Lord, behold, I will raise up against Babylon and against them that dwell in the midst of them, that rise up against me a destroying wind. Okay, and I will send unto Babylon famines that shall fan her and shall empty her land. For in the day of trouble they shall be against her round about. Talking about all those nations, man. Okay, that's what I just read in Jeremiah 59. It say, for lo, I will raise up and cause to come up against Babylon an assembly of great nations from the north country, and they shall set themselves in array against her. It say, from thence she shall be taken. Their arrows shall be as of a mighty expert man, none shall return in vain. So the Lord is about to destroy North America, man, with missiles. Okay? So that was point of this lesson, and I'm going to finish this out because I had to get into that prophecy. I had to let it play because she said it's Bible prophecy, man. And you got Esau admitting the truth, man. Okay, this is Esau telling you what's about to happen.
We are seeing these tensions right now between these nations concerning Ezekiel 38 with Russia, Iran, Turkey, and Israel. And Russia, Iran, and Turkey are already in Syria right now. So definitely some very prophetic events taking place. And with that being said, I have one last report I'd like to bring to you. Apparently, Futurism is reporting that military pilots will be able to control 3 jets at once via a brain implant. The military is making it easier than ever for soldiers to distance themselves from consequences of war. When drone warfare emerged, pilots could for the first time sit in an office in the US and drop bombs in the Middle East. Now, one pilot can do it all, just by using their mind. No hands required. Earlier this month, DARPA, the military's research division, unveiled a project that it had been working on since 2015. Technology that grants one person the ability to pilot multiple planes and drones with their mind. As of today, signals from the brain can be used to command and control not just one aircraft, but 3 simultaneously, stated Justin Sanchez, a director of DARPA's Biological Technologies Office. It goes on further to report that back in 2016, a volunteer equipped with a brain-computer interface was able to pilot an aircraft in a flight simulator while keeping 2 other planes in formation, all by using his thoughts. In 2017, Copeland was able to steer a plane through another simulation, this time receiving haptic feedback. If the plane needed to be steered in a certain direction, Copeland's neural implant would create a tingling sensation in his hands. Finally, reports to try and figure out how to make this technology accessible and not require surgical placement of a metal probe into people's brains, DARPA recently launched the next generation non-surgical neural technology program. The plan is to make a device with similar capabilities, but it'll look more like an EEG cap that the pilot can take off once a mission is done. Definitely a beast-like technology, as referenced in Revelation chapter 13. But with that being said, I just wanted to bring you guys a really quick update before your weekend. Please do leave your comments in the comments.
You see that? This is Edomites revealing this truth, man. Okay? But Jake is sleep, man. They don't watch or keep up with nothing, man. Okay? Now they got brain implants, man. And according to the scriptures, man, this is prophecy that's lining up, okay? Hey, this is beautiful, man. This is prophecy. Now you just had an interview with Elon Musk and Joe Rogan, and he talking about they 2 months away from implanting RFID microchips in the brain, man. Okay? This is Revelation 13, verse 16. And he caused all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads, man. Okay? In the foreheads, they're talking about brain implants, man. And Elon Musk just did a video a couple days ago that said they're a couple months away from brain implants, man. And this lady is already saying that they already doing it. Okay, that a pilot already have him controlling 3 planes, man, with his brain implant. So it's a multitude of people that already have the RFID microchip right now. For you out there that don't believe the RFID microchip is the mark of the beast, people already have it in their right and left hand, as it tell you in Revelation, the 21st chapter. Okay, Revelation the 20th chapter. So people already have it in their right hand, in their left and right hand, and in their brain. That's right now already, man. And this is 2018. And they said they didn't want everybody to chip by 2020. Half of the world already got RFID microchips now. You just don't know it. So with that, I want to say all praises to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shah, Bahashem, Rekah, Kodash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders, great millstone, who teach well, and a sincere salutation to all the Akim, pushing this truth about the 4 winds of the earth, and all the Akwaf who are listening and learning. The Lord's witness will edifying. Shalom.